Hey. It's the girl Cherie from Up Front with Cherie. So this week, instead of getting a peer to come on and have a chat with us, I decided that I will be doing my own little an interview on myself. All right, so we're going to talk about antiphospholipid and how I found out that I actually had it. So, in 2008, I fell pregnant and everything was going fine. And this 1 week I was had to go in for my regular checkup, which my partner at the time was like, "Do you want me to come with you?" And I was like, "Nope." Mum said, "Do you want me to come with you?" I was like, "You know what? Because I have to go through the gold team at King Edward, it was a public hospital. So I was like, look, they're never on time. I'm fine. Like, it's just a general, So go in, do the whole process, waited 2 hours, and then I got to see my doctor. So my doctor was like, "How's everything going?" And I'm like, "Fine." I said, "Oh my gosh, guess what?" I said, "My daughter," because I knew I was having a girl. I was like, "My daughter loves Home and Away." I'm like, "I'm a huge fan." I said, "But on Thursday night, I said, my daughter was watching Home and Away, and I felt her like full-blown kicking, and I was like, it was an exciting part. So I was like, she already knows, And I said, and, every time I kissed a girl, come on, like, kicking away. Those are the times that I could really feel her kicking. And she's like, "Oh, okay." She goes, "I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing." I was like, "That's a freaking excellent, Anyway, I'm like, who doesn't like Home and Away? Anyway, so then she was like, "All right, Cherie, jump up. I just have to do a quick Doppler check." And I was like, "All right, cool." Anyway, so I was laying there and I was like, "Oh, so do I get to hear her heartbeat?" Because every mum likes hearing the bub's heartbeat. Like, it's just a given, right? And then she, like, her face, like, her whole appearance was just strange. And I was like, "What's happening?" She goes, "Oh, look, I think we should go down to imaging because I'm finding it really hard to get to hear a heartbeat." She goes, "But don't be alarmed. It can happen." Right? So I was like, okay. So we ended up walking down the long corridor. So we get to imaging, and by this time, like, we're going straight through. We're not waiting. There was there was a lot of people in the waiting room, but VIP straight through. And then I was laying there, and she's like, "Oh, do you mind if we have another feel?" Blah blah blah. I was like, go for gold type thing. And then 3 doctors come in, and then there's like 5 nurses, and then I'm like, okay, like, what's going on here, And then she was like, I had to do an internal scan. She goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to tell you that I can't find a heartbeat." And I was like, "There's my baby." Like, I could see the bubs there, And she's like, "Unfortunately, Cherie, your daughter's passed on." Like, yeah. So I was like, okay. Like, in that moment, you're like, fuck, can we go back 4 hours? Just let's go back to 4 hours. I was happy with 4 hours before. And then, like, I was like, why are all these people, like, staring at me? Like, they've got it wrong. And she was like, "No, we definitely, like, we don't." And I was like, "Okay." And she goes, "But I want to take some blood tests to see what your levels are, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "Oh, we'll go back to the rooms. And I was like, all right. And then we're walking down, and I remember the corridor, it's like 100-meter all the way down. And I was like, I was just so super. Yes. So, sorry. I ended up having to walk back, and I was like, you know what? Like, there's just, like, I can hear babies crying. I could see pregnant mums. I could see babies being held, taken home. And I was just like, denial. Basically denial. Anyway, so got back to the rooms, and she was like, oh, you know, did you want to call somebody? And I was like, how do I make that call? Like, anyway, it was all a blur from there. I can't remember if someone come and got me. I just remember her saying, you need to go home, Cherie, and you need to organize a funeral. What do you mean a funeral? Like, and she goes, we'll have to, and then she explains, you know, what happens is we're going to put you through labor, and your body will start rejecting the bubs soon. So if you feel like this, you need to come back, but you need to come back tomorrow morning, and we're going to see how you go and induce you. And I was like, and she's like, and then we'll go through the labor process. And I was like, so I still have to give birth to my daughter and go through all that pain. You know, people are telling me like, you know, it's not fun. It's not like on TV. And then that's it. Like, it's not like that. And I said, I have to do that. And then I hold my baby for the first time, but she's not alive. And then you're telling me that I have to plan for the funeral? I was just like, you know what, like, this is way too freaking much. So anyway, I remember my dad's been FIFO our whole life. Hold on.